Dinarland Talk. First up from Cap. Article, Trade Bank of Iraq. The global market began to trust the future of Iraq's economy. Okay, then let's show the world that your currency isn't toilet paper anymore. Then let have some value added to it. They cannot just add value to the dinar arbitrarily. And the CBI would be foolish to do so, since they are in the business of making money. The dinar will rise in value as this investment flows into Iraq and the world gains more confidence in Iraq. Iraq needs to get in compliance with the IMF so they can move to Article 8 and let the process begin. What happens from there will be fun to watch. One thing is for sure, Abadi is hyping this little bit of success. Hope it works out. From Blue Wolf. Puerto Rico, it is up to you. August 11, 2017. Puerto Rico is only 100 miles long by 35 miles wide, but it is the only nation in the world with the most dinars per square feet. And its government, both US and local, know of such, and so does its primary banking system. Its governmental debt has placed the island and its people into bankruptcy. But this is a known fact gone old, but what is new is its government's and banks' intention to use a law created by our last president, which states that when the credit or debit of the country is unrecoverable, that they can go into all people's accounts over $100,000. and extract its monies to pay its malicious debt. This intent is now going on, and they are trying to negotiate it into effect with the Chinese, who have acknowledged that this is unlawful, illegal, and not right by its people or by any means. For those of you living in PR, now you know their intentions. Now you can accept this robbery or do what is correct, and that is to establish your accounts elsewhere away from the hands of these thieves. It is up to you. Be forever blessed. Next up from Agidad77. Frank 26 offered up a few thoughts. Let me share what he said. Great news today from our friend, Walking Stick, a plethora of information that he believes that we will see the results of in 2 to 3 days. Time for the media to catch up. Frank says that so much is happening. No, we don't know the date or rate, but there is sure a lot of activity happening right in front of us, right before our eyes. So that is it in a nutshell for now. The best is coming. Next up from Bruce. We know that Iraq was released from Chapter 7. They had an announcement yesterday from the UN releasing them from Chapter 7. The IMF also made an announcement last night essentially saying the same thing, that they are released. To be released, they would have to have a rate on their new Iraqi dinar. We do not necessarily have it on the CBI site or totally global out there yet. The last thing that needed to happen for Iraq to be released from Chapter 7 was the new rate, and then have a new international tradable currency. Will they transition directly into Chapter 8? We don't know that for sure. I thought they automatically did that. There is a holiday today, or was a holiday today, Thursday, in Iraq. We believe the reason for the holiday was because they were in fact revaluing their currency. Next up from Jilin. Report, electronic payment removes the dinar from the pockets of employees. Quote, the salary of the employee will be 2,000 Iraqi dinars, less than $2, regardless of its value. Well, to me it is saying that there may be plans for a different value for the dinar. At today's rate of 1,260, they are getting $1.59 for 2,000 dinars. If that changes to a 1-to-1, they would receive 2,000 dinars worth a lot more in purchasing power than that $1.59. In Iraq, 2,000 dinars will always be 2,000 dinars. A change in value is what we are looking for, of course. That 1-to-1 means something totally different to in-country versus what it means to us. We be dancing in the street. I just liked that they said, regardless of value. I can't imagine the value going anywhere but up. All JMO. From Walking Stick. Iraq is accelerating the transition to paying employees' salaries electronically. The steps of the Iraqi government to move towards the payment of salaries of employees electronically, within the framework of an integrated program, experts say it will contribute to increase the activity of the banking sector and raise the efficiency of payments and reduce the handling of cash, and will have positive economic repercussions. Baghdad, the Iraqi government is struggling to expand its dependence on electronic payment cards to give employees salaries, paving the way for reduced paper currency transactions. The government in Baghdad has adopted a plan to implement the project to pay all salaries electronically, and hopes to complete it fully in 2020. The project means the transfer of salaries of employees in the public and private sectors of salaries received in cash from their departments, to be received from government or private banks. The process is supposed to be done through a special account opened to the employee in the bank and withdraw from it by electronic payment card or withdraw money from the bank in cash. Iraqi experts and officials say the system is rampant in many countries as the banking sector expands its business and services. They pointed out that the implementation of the project will contribute greatly in reducing the time and effort and cost in the transactions of banks and transactions of citizens of various financial, in addition to reducing the handling of cash. The appearance of Mohammed Saleh, financial advisor to Prime Minister Haider Abadi, that the project to settle salaries is in accordance with plans set for him by the government. Mohammed Saleh's appearance. The project aims mainly at raising the efficiency of the payment system and activating the banking sector. He explained that the project includes several objectives, including raising the efficiency of the payment system and revitalizing the banking sector through the granting of loans and diversification of other services. Keeping cash inside and not trading in the market leads to a huge loss of up to 8% of GDP, which is estimated at $12 billion, he said. The salaries of state employees, retirees, and social welfare constitute 50% of the state budget, equivalent to 25% of gross domestic product, an important gateway to make their salaries online, he said. The number of Iraqis who receive salaries and pensions, along with monthly subsidies, about 7 million people. The government hopes to introduce them to electronic payment cards before 2020. While accurate figures are not available for the private sector. Saleh believes that financial coverage is the biggest way to control government spending because it will lead to a shift from manual payment to electronic payment, as well as knowledge of those who trade cash. There are 19 public, private and foreign banks involved in the process of settling salaries, and the number of employees in the public sector, who earn about 4 million and 1 million employees in the private sector. The plan expires in 2020 and about 5 million Iraqis are now between employees and retirees as well as social benefits using the card to get their salaries, he said. The public sector employees annually receive more than 35 trillion dinars, $27.5 billion, according to a previous statement to the spokesman of the Ministry of Planning and Development Cooperation Abdul Zahra al-Hindawi. Ali Tarek, opening bank accounts for employees this week will start within the project of localization of salaries. Ali Tarek, executive director of the Association of Private Banks in Iraq, says the work is still underway in the project to settle salaries of employees, which aims to develop the banking sector. He pointed out that it was agreed with the Ministries of Health and Electricity and will begin opening accounts for employees during the current week, pointing out that the shopping process will be through credit cards without any deduction, and can be used ATMs deployed in the country. The World Bank is closely monitoring with the federal government in Baghdad the issue of settling salaries because it increases the level of economic activity. The project of settling salaries, which was called for by the Council of Ministers and recommended for its implementation, has been taken into account and is of great importance by the central bank, said Doha Abdelkarim, director of payments at the central bank. She pointed out that the central bank was the first to implement the project to settle salaries to its employees and the experiment was successful. The bank has received significant guarantees from the banks to work on the project to settle salaries, and any bank will be held accountable for the distribution of salaries of employees. The Ministry of Electricity, in a statement recently, that the Iraqi Trade Bank of the government will issue MasterCard for employees of the ministry free of charge once in the case of opening an account within the bank, and the second time the cost of the issuance of $32 in case of loss. The bank will set up ATMs at the ministry's headquarters to pay employees' salaries on time when the information is sent to the bank by the ministry. The salary of the employee will be 2,000 dinars, less than $2, regardless of its value. She explained that the employee has the right to withdraw his salary from any ATM outside the headquarters of the ministry and bear the cost of less than $3, if the bank outside the framework of the Iraqi Trade Bank. Iraq is accelerating the transition to paying employees' salaries electronically. His harvest, activating, start, accelerating, thumbs up. DLR. Don't be gloomy. Do not dwell on unkind things. Stop seeking out the storms and enjoy more fully the sunlight.